WW7KC.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll find information about our club, frequencies we transmit and receive on, and also there's a link there that will take you to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the CTAC Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for this net. That's a special tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for this net. With that information out, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Hearing none, and welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Checked in by video link already is Ron, KD7QKU, Lee, N7KC, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is there anyone else that wishes to check in?
Dave, this is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue.
W7N, we acknowledge you signing on. Thanks for joining the net. Well, let's get the net started. Let's go up to the top to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU here. Good evening to everyone. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. Real nice day. Well, I missed the Wednesday night get-together. We were in Sequim. We went up Tuesday morning and had 2 really nice days. We were going to go to Hurricane Ridge, but they had the road closed. They said they'd got, I think they said 40 inches of snow, but kind of hard to believe, but I don't. They had the signs up. The road was closed, so anyway, we went to, drove all around, went out to the, I don't know what they call it there in Sequim. It's kind of a hook they have out there. The last time we were there, it was easy to get to. This time, they had sort of turned, there's a state park out there, and it was more difficult to get to. You had to walk quite a ways. We didn't go down to it. There's another place that we got to. Jim wants to see how much 40 inches is. Quite a bit, yeah. So anyway, we had picnic lunch with us every day, and we ate some really pretty places. We went to Salt Creek Campground State Park. We ate our lunch there, and then moseyed around. And then I guess it was Wednesday. We went to Crescent Lake. Doug and Phyllis said they hadn't been to Crescent Lake for a long, long time. Doug couldn't even hardly remember it, so we drove up there. It was real pretty. So when we were coming home from up there, I decided I should give Lee a call. You know, we're in his backyard, and we were going to stop at this Wendy's and have dinner. We saw the Wendy's on the way in. They really like Wendy's. This is their favorite place. If you want to go get a hamburger, they always want to go to Wendy's. They usually get salad. I think they put do they put beans on their salad? I don't know, whatever, but they eat salad at Wednesday quite often. So I gave Lee a call and said, hey, what's the chances that you could run down here? And he had a whole bunch of things to do, but he dropped everything and ran down, and geez, he must have spent at least 30 minutes visiting. We had a really nice visit. Doug and Phyllis said, what a nice guy. They had met him before, but anyway, we had a really good visit. So thanks, Lee, for coming down on the spur of the moment. It was nice to have an eyeball to eyeball. Haven't seen you, for a long time. See you on Zoom, but haven't seen you up there for quite a while. So then on the way home, we went to Paulsbo and went to the bakery and bought a bunch of goodies. And I bought a sack full. I didn't really need them, but they are so good. I'm telling you, they just melt in your mouth. So then we went down and by the boats there. There's a park, and we had a picnic. We still had a picnic lunch with us. The girls had brought bread and stuff and made sandwiches every day, and so we had sandwiches. So we carried the little ice chest down, and we sat there and watched the guy go in his little putt-putt raft out to his sailboat and go aboard and take off. So that was kind of interesting. And then, of course, we came home. So anyway, that was kind of our 3 days up there. We got lucky. We had really nice weather. The last morning we got up, it was kind of overcast, but really wasn't cold or anything. So it was real nice. Back to Nat, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Well, speaking of Lee, let's go to N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, let's see if this thing's working properly tonight. Okay, I got thumbs up from Jim. Well, okay, Lee here, N7KC in Port Angeles. Yeah, that was fun. It turns out Wednesday night. The second Wednesday night is our local club meeting. And I had part of the program, and so I had the car all packed with equipment and all that. And it was just a few minutes till I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes probably before I had to go. I get this telephone call, and Ron's in town, for Pete's sake. So what I did, Wendy's is kind of on the other side of town, but I had to go downtown anyway, for the meeting, so I just went early. And I went over to Wendy's and sat there and gassed with them for 45 minutes, actually. That was a lot of fun, it really was. And they had been out in the Joyce, Salt Creek area and all that stuff. Actually, Salt Creek is a county park. It's a Clallam County park. And Salt Creek is right next to Camp Hayden. I don't know, Ron, if you guys went up and saw where the two 16-inch gun mounts were during the war there, but that was the westernmost on the strait camp where they had two 16-inch guns that they could fire across the strait there, and the Canadians had sort of the equivalent on the other side there. It's a lot like Fort Casey and Warden and over around Port Townsend, only this was further out on the strait. They fired those guns, let's see, that's for sure from there, but that's all that ever happened there, I've got my timer on. Well, anyway, it's a great place. Salt Creek goes right into the strait there, and it's a wonderful campground. And we've been there. We were there 50 years, 55 years before, 60 years before we ever moved to Port Angeles. Had no idea that we'd ever be living here. We used to go right through town to hit for Salt Creek because we used to dive down there a little bit, and also the tide pools are on Tongue Point right there at Salt Creek are the best in the world. They are really something when the tide's out. Okay, I'm out of time. I'll tell you what I did next time around.
K7KC, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Canton.
Okay, well, let's see here if I can figure out how to share my screen as usual. That's always kind of a trick for me, but I think that's it. Share, and make it big, and turn it on. Okay. So anyway, so as usual, I have some video of the volcano in Iceland. Let's see. So Ron, when you weren't here, I had a video of where the walls of the cinder cone had collapsed on one side. It was just, the lava was just pouring out like a beautiful waterfall. So it looks like the wall is built back up, but still, this is pretty unique viewpoint. Oh geez, of course you gotta have a commercial, right in the middle of my presentation here. Let's see if I can get out of this quickly enough. Doggone you guys anyway. Wouldn't you know it? Okay. Oh no, now what happened? What did I do now? Oh, it skipped, darn it. Oh, I blew it. So anyway, if you want to join this, okay, let's get back to it. Anyway, pretty unique viewpoint. You can see Grindavik way back there, on the coastline there. But this drone, I don't know how close he really is, or because I have a feeling he gets too close, he would melt. So I think there's some telephoto lens involved here, but I just love this lake. So anyway, this is, so the, let me just take a break. So, you know, we had 4 eruptions that led up to this, and, you know, and they were always pretty short-lived. Well, this particular eruption has now been going on 4 weeks plus. Well, the other eruptions came from a magma pool that was part of the upper crust, maybe just, I think 6 to 8 kilometers below the surface, where, from what I'm understanding, this particular magma flow is coming from the lower crust, and which is like more like, you know, 12 to 16 kilometers below the surface. And so that being said, there is a lot more magma to be had in this lower crust. So that explains why it's been going for 4 weeks plus. And then to make matters worse, I think they've experienced quite a few earthquakes in the last couple days in this general area. So I don't think it's going to be done anytime soon. But yeah, it's just fascinating. I don't hear much. I haven't kept track of what the Icelanders are having to say lately. They seem to have, you know, the infrastructure under control at this point, and now the issue is just tourists trying to get where they shouldn't, and I think one of them actually fell and got killed in the last week or two. They hiked from the Blue Lagoon. They thought that would be a good idea to hike to the volcano. So anyway, just thought I'd share this. It's all very interesting as time goes on. We'll see if this is, you know, Iceland's new future on the peninsula where the capital is. K7ITX, back to net control.
Connected N7KC.
That's going on in Iceland. And it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Ron, Wendy's, yeah. I like Wendy's. For the past, I don't know, decade or so, a number of us, a bunch of our neighbors here, we would get together and typically go to Jack in the Box for lunch. The reason we would do that is because they served breakfast all day long. So, one of the guys just couldn't live without breakfast, so we wound up at Jack in the Box. And yeah, it's good. I do like the Wendy's salads better, though. Lee, sounds like you had fun. I'm glad that you all could get together. Little unusual for something like that, but that's good. Let's see. Oh, Dick, cool pictures. Wow, it looks like there's almost a chunk of magma that's about to burst out of the side of that cone again. That's a frightening thought. And we could see from the drone picture, looking down, we could tell where there's lava that's almost hidden by dried rock, I guess. Whether it's pumice or whatever. I could see how it might not be an easy thing to avoid if you weren't really careful. So yeah, I could see how it might not be prudent for people to walk from the Blue Lagoon over to the volcano. It sounds like a cool idea, but it only takes one bad idea to make a mess. Oh well. Let's see. I've got my 1.2 gigahertz tonight has been going on and off. Right now, all I have is a black screen. And let's see. Someone was talking about temperature. I'm showing 56 degrees here right now, and I've got 69 degrees in the shack now. Was a nice day, but it felt a little more chilly outside than I was expecting it to. I'm looking, and the outside temperature was like 64, 65 degrees, but so I went outside to get the mail, and I thought, just in a t-shirt, and I thought, well, I'd better get a light jacket if I'm going to go walking anywhere. So, but I'm appreciating the nice weather that we have right now. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Break, this is Jessica.
UHK, Jessica, go ahead.
But I just want to say I'm back in town. We left our ship about 7 o'clock this morning and docked in LA and took LAX and a bunch of bus and light rail to get back home. But we saw a really beautiful eclipse off the coast of Mazatlan, and I'll tell you all about it later. So I just wanted to break in and say I'm back in throw me in the rotation somehow. This is KF7 UHK.
UHK, we got you. Well, let's go to James, WU7N.
This is James, WU7N. Well, Ron, sounds like you had a great trip. It's always good when you can rendezvous with friends, and that all works out, so that sounds good. And Richard, thank you very much for the lava pictures. Yeah, that must be some impressive optics on that drone. That is not, I don't think that's your DJI drone. I think that's something a little more than that, because I would think the heat energy coming off that lava would really be intense, and you would have to be back away or you would just get cooked. Jim, yes, you brought back a fond memory. When my GI tract was young and a lot hardier, I remember Jack in the Box, I would do a midnight run for the night shift for the network management center I was working in, and I would get typically something like 2 of those greasy tacos that were made out of shoe leather that tasted just so delicious, and then some kind of little hamburger and a big pile of fries. I'd wash it all down with black coffee and just be fine with all that. Man, if I did that today, I'd probably have to go to the ER. Salads do beat out everybody else's salads. I always kind of wonder, though, what kind of factory they grow the lettuce in. You ever wonder about that? No, you don't think about that, do you? It's always perfect, perfect lettuce and perfect vegetables, but it's really good. Wendy's does a good job. Unfortunately, I think the closest Wendy's to me is way down in Renton. I don't think there's anything up here on this side of Bellevue, but I always like the Frosties at Wendy's. They do a very good job with the Frosties and the chili. And the chili is also very good. Yeah. Tonight, with Bob out, he sent a text at the last minute. I've just got the 1.2 gigahertz transmitter set to the interior of the shack. It's a black and white picture, so it's a very solid black and white picture, good solid 5 on that. So, Jim, I'm not sure why you're seeing a solid black screen. If you have it set to 1.2, you should be able to see the inside of that shack, although there's a black cabinet in the back and maybe a black chair in the center there. I can't quite tell what that is. So at the top of the screen, there's 3 big blobs of black, and then at the bottom of the screen, there's the infrared white. So that's what's coming out on 1.2 if anyone else is trying to capture that picture tonight. I just enjoyed some of this great weather today, walked around a little bit, had the best of intentions to wash the car, but didn't quite get out there. I get this yellow pollen around here that absolutely, if you don't get it off and it rains and then dries on it, it's really hard to get it off. So I try to wash it off before it glues itself or sets on the finish. Didn't do that, but I definitely will get that done tomorrow, and I guess we're supposed to be getting rain here on Monday, more rain, but at least the yellow pollen won't be epoxy glued to the finish. Well, that's about it for me here at 22 minutes after the hour here in Northeast Bellevue. My name is James, WW7N with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let's turn it back to our net control. Go ahead, Dave.
WW7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, 87ZYM. Well, in Lake City, I've got 55 degrees and clear outside. Boy, I worked on the yard. I wasn't sure I was going to make the net tonight. I sat down, I almost went to sleep, but it was good exercise to get out and do some yard work. But I'm here, and it seems to be everything's functioning together, so I guess I recuperated from that yard work. Well, the other interesting things I did was watched a movie, a Western movie this week, and it starred Hedy Lamarr, and that brings back my childhood memories. When I was 5 years old, my parents worked for the ambassador to Russia in Wadsworth, Nevada, and Hedy Lamarr had come there to get a quickie divorce and was staying at the SRS Ranch. Well, during her stay there, my parents wanted to go into town and hoop it up in beautiful Wadsworth, Nevada. I think there was just one casino that was there. That was about it. And so Hedy Lamarr said she'd watch me. I was 5 years old. That was my babysitter for a couple of nights in a row. So that was an interesting part of my life, and it was kind of interesting to see the movie to kind of remember what she looked like. But I'm sure she is aged or has departed by now, so I don't know too much about her. So that's my story. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here again. Well, it come around awful fast, it seems like. Those pictures are interesting, Richard, for sure. And yeah, I hope it doesn't have another blowout and the magma run all over the city again. So anyway. So let's see, I've been doing some chores around the place. I washed the outside of the windows today. Actually made a big improvement. We have this park across the street, and they go over there in the morning, and it's a baseball diamonds, and they have a thing they drag behind a pickup to level the dirt, I guess, and it kicks up quite a bit of dust, and that dust all blows over here, and when I don't know if it's dew or whatever it is on the windows, and it kind of sticks, so the windows are pretty dirty. So I washed them today, and they all look really nice from the inside looking out. Another thing I did is I cut the dandelions out. We have a guy that takes care of the lawn, and he usually puts weed and feed or something in. We don't seem to have many dandelions, but all of a sudden we seem to have these little yellow flowers all over, and I didn't want them to go to seed. So I grabbed a bucket and a butcher knife, and I went out and I cut them off below the surface of the ground. I don't know if it gets rid of them completely, but it slows them down for a while. And then now that we have this little mini, split heat pump in the house, we have two of them, one in the back and one in the front. I figured I didn't have need for this portable air conditioner. So when we were in Bellevue, we had a portable air conditioner in our bedroom, and when we moved here, of course, I brought it with us. It's a pretty good size one. It worked really good. But I didn't have need for it, so I told Doug the other day I would be more than happy to give it to him for their bedroom. So today I loaded it up in the pickup and then called him to see what he was doing. He wasn't doing anything, so I said, can I bring it over? And he said, sure. So I brought it over. So their bedroom is upstairs, and so we I brought a hand truck, and we strapped it to the hand truck, and then we taken it up the stairs to their bedroom. So he has a perfect. It's it's one of those events out the window. So he has a perfect window and the plug-in and everything right there. So it's going to work good for him. So let's see. Oh, Richard, I went over yesterday. I and Joanna, we got the check for the motorhome. Signed all the papers, taken the title with us, so that's all done now. Put the money in the bank, and I don't know what we're gonna do with it. Spend it, I suppose. So anyway, it was nice to get some money. So yeah, I don't have to think about that anymore. So that's about all that's going on over here. And let's see, Eddie Lamar. I guess I can't remember. I mean, if I saw her, I probably would recognize her, but just from the name, I don't remember in the old movies, but I'm sure I saw her many times. So for sure. So all right. And I think it'll be good to hear what Jessica has to say. So back to that, Katie, 7QKU.
KU. Let's go to Jessica. KF7UHK.
Yeah, we were gone for 10 days on the Discovery Princess, and just to point out, we went to Puerto Vallarta, Manzanillo, Cabo San Lucas, and Mazatlan. And it didn't matter any port you stopped at. There were always people who wanted to sell you things on the street, kind of hard sell, and so, oh, I'm doing this for my family. I've got 3 kids at home. Will you buy a hat? Will you buy a T-shirt? Will you buy, some drugs? Somebody offered us cocaine. No, thank you, but no, And so that was always kind of a little difficult to see. You don't see that in Seattle. Bert and his wife, we got together a few times, at least to run into him and say hi, and we played a space trivia game in a theater with a bunch of other people playing the same game, and that was fun. We were a team. We did pretty good, but not as good as some people. And then we had this thing, we call it drink package. You spend some money, and you got to drink at least 2.5 drinks to make sure you get your money's worth over the 10 days. You have to buy 2.5 a day. So, and we did many more than that. So, 2 of my favorite drinks I had was the Bahama Mama, which was a coconut infusion along with rum and some other things, and blended up with ice. Tasted like a really sweet milkshake, delicious. And then something called the Dirty Banana, which is like a half banana and some rum, and once again an ice chilled up like a Slurpee, and delicious. I don't think their alcohols are very, very strong. I don't know, maybe they water them down or they get cheap alcohol or something, but I never felt like I was drinking too much at all. And so that's what I got from now. Sure, I'm glad to be back. Home sweet home. Being ever so humble. There's no place like home. So I'm going to pass it back to Jessica. KF7UHK.
UHK, as the saying goes, leave the driving to us. You did well. Let's go to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, very good. N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Well, very good. Well, Jessica, that was really fun. In fact, Bert was on I think it was Saturday night, telling us that he had run into you and Sylvia. Oh, am I not getting in right? Oh dear. Well, anyway, so Bert gave us a report on you playing that space game. So that's pretty good. Okay, well, I'm getting thumbs up. I must be intermittent or something. Okay, Hedy Lamar is not well known, but she was a technical person. I don't know what her background was in the sciences, but she has gotten some credit for helping develop spread spectrum. she had an idea for frequency hopping during World War II, I think, and she got a patent on that and so forth. I don't know the full story, but I do remember several years ago, one of my neighbors here was telling me all about Hedy Lamarr and what she had done. So that's kind of fun. Jessica, I've been to Manzanilla. In 1980, I was on the Riviera Ocean Seismic Experiment. The Riviera plate actually down off of southern Mexico and northern Guatemala. And we were there 2 months on a research vessel. We went in once in 2 months. And it was Manzanilla where we went. And it was okay. It was fun to be there. I was just nervous about all the people with big guns. They were in uniform, and they had a lot of big guns there. Let's see. Wendy's, yeah, Wendy's. Well, we haven't been going to Wendy's regularly now, but what we do is get their taco salad, which is a nice green salad, and a big cup of chili, which you put over it. Yeah, it's good stuff. And there's pollen. Oh my gosh, James mentioned pollen. It's awful here. Just raining pollen. You squeegee the car windows and it's scummy and it smears. It's really a mess. I'm out of time. I guess I'll have to wait till the next time to tell you about what I did today. Sorry about that. Back to you, Dave, in 7KC, Land Port Angeles.
Casey, thanks for that. And it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Canton.
That sounds like a lot of fun for you and Ron Lee. And as far as fast food joints go, I haven't gone lately. Maybe probably my best meal of all time. But I'm kind of shy about it now. And that's the Jack in the Box, the sourdough Jack. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a hamburger with bacon and I probably have Swiss cheese and sourdough bread. Trouble is, though, and I wish I would have never done this, after I ate the sourdough Jack, a couple hours later I measured my blood sugar, and oh my God, how about 220 milligrams per deciliter? And, that's about 100 milligrams too high in my book. So, dang, I popped my bubble, and so now it's very rare. Maybe the fast food thing I do now is get a, what do they call it? Not a club sandwich, but, anyway, it's a Subway sandwich on wheat bread. And, it's pretty mild compared to the sourdough Jack. So, sheesh. And then as far as drinks go, I used to drink a lot, and especially if I was in Hawaii. And even to this day, I just love the taste of the Mai Tai. I don't know what's in it, but when you're at a resort in Hawaii, it seems like everybody's drinking a Mai Tai, and they really know how to make them good. So, and let's see, before I forget, I bought a computer at Costco, a laptop, for the company who was actually buying it for Debbie. So when she's out of town, she can log right in with VPN and all that stuff. But it's a company laptop. But yeah, the weather's been fantastic. Which normally I love, and I still do, but because of this one of these new drugs I'm taking, which is photosensitive. This is my new style when I'm outside. I feel like a fool. I know, look at everyone smiling and laughing. I know, it's ridiculous. But if I don't wear it, I feel miserable. And even wearing it today, geez, I'm practically yelling, aren't I? So even after wearing it today, the sun has been really intense. It doesn't matter about the wind or anything. It's just and here's the other weird part. The photosensitivity, it's not affected by glass. So if you're just sitting in front of the window looking at Mount Rainier on a Sunday morning, I even feel that. It feels like a sunburn and it makes me real sleepy. So anyway, Debbie thought that this will come in handy, and I'm sure it will wherever I'm going. Guess what? I'm going to need this. So anyway, great net so far. K7ITX back to net control.
ITX, thank you.
And 7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, yeah, I've got just a black screen right now. The picture has been going on and off. I did see the repeater interior a little bit earlier, and then shortly after you began talking, I saw the repeater IDer come on, and I got that in full color. And that went away, and I have not got a picture back since. Maybe something broke over here, but I don't know. Anyway, thanks for mentioning that. Let's see. Dave, you said that you are recuperated from the yard work today? Dave. Wait until tomorrow and see if you think tomorrow that you have recuperated. At least that's the way it hits me. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. So good luck tomorrow, sir. Okay. That was from Lee. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah, Hedy Lamar. Well, I had no idea that she was a technically interested individual. That's interesting. And well, let's see. Lee is gone, so I won't mention that to him about him dropping out a couple of times, but that's okay. Ron, sounds like you have been busy. I don't know, kept you out of trouble anyway, and it sounds like you reduced the volume of stuff you have at your house. I certainly need to do that. All of us seem to be doing that from time to time. Well, I did spend today shredding a whole bunch of papers until my shredder got a little bit too hot to touch, so I had to abandon that. Jessica, 10 days. Wow. Hard sell. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe they only get tourists. I've never run into that in Seattle either, but maybe somehow they recognize that I didn't just get off a boat or something. I don't know. So sorry about that. I've had similar experiences everywhere I've gone, and in fact, in one country which shall remain nameless, we're walking down this street with a bunch of shops. There were 3 of us in the crew, and one of the guys was looking in this shop, and there were two women in there, and they grabbed him, and they were trying to pull him in, and then the two of us were trying to pull him out, it was hilarious. But it's like, okay, so yeah, sometimes they definitely can give you a hard sell. And Bahama Mama, I'll have to try that. I don't think I ever tried that. Let's see. And yeah, there's no place like home. I got to go along with that. If I'm at home, I can never run out of things to do. And if I ever run out of things to do, my wife could find more things for me to do. So, never. Mai Tais. Yeah, that's. Is that okay? What's with drinks that have little tiny umbrellas in them? What's the purpose of umbrellas? I don't know. Some of these exotic drinks, it's like I don't quite get it. But most all of them are yummy anyway, so that's okay. And yeah, I was taking a medicine that where I had to avoid the sun as well. Fortunately, I got off of that, but you have to be careful because it can impact you. And they told me that if I was in too much light, it could damage my vision as well. So that's another consideration. Make sure you're wearing some sunglasses if you go outside as well. That's my 2 cents on that. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Time for a little ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Bellevue to James, WW7N.
KC disconnected.
Dave, well, there's a picture of what your babysitter looked like, Hetty Lamar there, and let's see, there is something I know you really are probably even more interested in, that you probably would want to see, and that is, of course, not it has nothing to do with clothing. There's the patent that she had her name on for the frequency hopping system. I thought when I read about this that it was some kind of FDM type system for anti-jamming on homing torpedoes. But I'm looking at this patent here. It's got antennas all over it, so maybe it was just some sort of a frequency hopping system for communications. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, I caught those two pictures on the web. I thought I'd share them with everybody. I don't know if you're out there still listening, but you know, my sister came back from her travels in Europe with a cold, and then she was starting to get better, and then she really got tired and had to sleep all day, so she took a at-home COVID test, and yep, she came up positive. But all she did was just sleep and just slept it off. And then her husband also, right about that same time, also got a cold. And then he was starting to get over it, and he said, well, use our last little COVID test here. She goes, no, don't waste that. You're just got a cold. You're getting over it. He took the COVID test, and yeah, he was positive too. So they both had to isolate themselves a bit. They didn't want to pass it around. Their homeowners association, a book club, a couple other meetings they missed, but it was really quite manageable. So take care of yourself, Jessica. You sound like you do have something there going on. Let's see. Your hat, Richard. Now, that hat is an excellent hat, but just a couple of pro tips here. It won't save you from reflected radiation off cement or water, so you still have to put a sunscreen on. And also, even if you're in some kind of like a peat or foliage or something where the reflection isn't that bad, the ones with the small brims, I found, depending on the time of the day and depending on which direction I was walking, I could get like sort of below the earlobe on one side burned a little bit with the smaller hats. So I like the ones that, you know, look like giant sombreros, but they still won't help out on the water or on cement. And of course, nothing helps at high altitude. You basically have to put on a spacesuit for that. I absolutely second the second day soreness. When I really do weights to exhaustion, it's not the day one, the next day, it's the day after that I really feel it. That's when my soreness schedule. So, well, anyway, that's it. I see Lee had to check out early. I don't know if Jessica's still out there or not, but it's nice to have you guys with the net here. And I just Bob in his text just said he was getting really tired, so I hope he's just tired and he'll get some sleep and see us on Wednesday. This is James, Whiskey Uniform 7 November in Northeast Bellevue. Also, if anyone's listening right now, it looks like someone's a couple of times during the net here broadcast a digital signal. That's a screaming squeal of somebody's digital, like FL Digi or something like that's coming through. So if you're listening now, you might want to check to see what frequency you're on, because we're on here for another 15 minutes. This is James, WW7N. Let me turn it back to our net control. Dave, take it away.
WW7N, thanks for that announcement. Well, let's see, talking about Wendy's, when I was at Costco, I noticed with a canned chili, all of a sudden there was a label, Wendy's chili, and it was a little higher priced than the regular chili that was in the cans in that section. So they have got canned chili now at Costco. That was kind of interesting to see. And I get back to another Hedy Lamarr story. When I was at the ranch, they had two huge Afghan dogs, and I tell you, at 5 years old, you're eye to eyeball to an Afghan dog. It seems like it's about the size of an elephant, but it was always, they were very kind animals and very nice to be around. But the interesting story was from my mother, was she had heard from Hedy Lamarr the liver pate that she got out of the refrigerator was fantastic, and she thought that was very good, but my mother didn't have the heart to tell her that was the dog food container that she took the liver pate. But anyway, things happen. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM. So we'll send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here. Well, that was a pretty good story, Dave. My mother, I guess my dad always liked liver, so my mother cooked him liver one time, and he was saying, oh my goodness, this is the toughest liver I ever saw in my life. So he went out to get the container out of the garbage and look at it, and it was pet food. I guess it was ends off the liver or something that they have for pet food. My dad was a little bit upset about that. I guess my mother didn't notice when she bought it. At least she would own up to it anyway. And yeah, you guys are talking about pollen on the cars. I guess I had a bunch of that stuff over here, been all over my pickup. I cleaned it all off the other day, and then it's all back on it again, so I don't know, I guess I have to wait till the pollen season is over. And Wendy's, yeah, no, there's no Wendy's on this side of town. The Wendy's seem to be over on the other side of town. There's one, I guess, that's down by 72nd. So you go down Pacific Highway and get to, I think, 72nd, turn left a couple of blocks, and there's a Wendy's there. That seems to be Doug and Phyllis's favorite. They think the salads are better there. So, and they make a nice hamburger. Yeah, I don't mind Wendy's at all. Every now and then we've called them and said, hey, you want to go to lunch at Wendy's? They say, sure, so we do that. And the hat, Richard, the hat was real nice. There's no problem with the hat. I thought you looked good in it. I guess, you know, sometimes you have to protect yourself from the sun. I know we were over to, I guess it was La Push, and there by the forks, you know, and we were camped out there with the motorhome, and I went down to the river, and there was Indians, you know, had their gill nests in the river, and they had, their little boat on the shore, and this one Indian was sitting under a tarp, and it was a hot day, and he was under the tarp. It was like a canvas tarp. I mean, it was a real tarp. It wasn't a plastic tarp. I don't know where he got it. Kind of a military piece of canvas he had, and it looked really hot under there to me. And I asked him if he wasn't hot, and he said, well, yeah, he was, but he was taking some medication, he said, and he couldn't be out in the sunshine. So, you know. But I did buy a fish from him. I talked him into a fish for $20. He probably could have sold it, you know, for more than that, but he gave me one for $20. I filleted it out and staked it and stuff, and we had the fish for about a week out of it. So that's about it here. I don't know. We went to church last Sunday. I don't know if we're going to go to church tomorrow or not. It's easier to watch it on Zoom than it is to go. I guess I'm getting lazy. So anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get caught up around here. I got a couple more things to do. And then I guess I'm caught up. We did enjoy staying in the motel. We haven't stayed in a lot of motels for a long time. You know, we had the motorhome, so we'd always stay in the motorhome, but then the motel are nice. So I guess we'll be moteling it from now on. All right, that's about it over here. I guess I didn't make too many notes, so anyway, back to net KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Let's see if Jessica's still with us. KF7UHK. Miss Sunshine.
Still with you. And speaking of churches, we went to two different churches in two of these different ports. These really old, like made in the 1500s or something. Just gorgeous churches. They were open to the public, and you know, they really didn't want you wearing shorts in it, but I don't think they stopped anybody. And you know, there'd be a little music playing, and one of them had an electronic votive. If you wanted to go light a votive candle, instead of, you know, lighting up a candle, and sometimes you use the other candle, or, you know, a punk or something like that to light up a candle, you put some money in, and it would have a little LED on what looks like a candle turn on. So I had three friends that passed away this last couple of years, and so I put 3 coins in so I can get 3 of those votive candles lit up. And you sit there and, you know, you do the respectful thing. I grew up Catholic, so to me, it's kind of like, as I like to tell Sylvia, my blood boils when I go into a church like this. It's just gorgeous, you know, beautiful, tall, very tall ceilings, very high up steeples, and you know, hand carved wooden things, and stained glass. Gorgeous, just beautiful. And yes, I did catch a cold about 6th day in or so, maybe 5th day in, and hit me really hard. Runny nose, sore throat. One day I was basically stayed in bed most of the day, shivering, only to get out of bed to go eat something and, you know, find things to drink. But I don't know if it's COVID. I didn't really want to go to the medic on board, just because I figured I'd just kick it. However, and I'm on the mend, which is good. In my notes here, Mai Tais, yeah, I think they taste kind of like a fruit punch, but they usually have a bunch of different alcohols in them, and Mai Tais are really tasty. We flew home on Alaska Horizon. I didn't realize Horizon is really for regional, and Alaska has owned Horizon for many years, so it's really kind of the same thing. And we flew home on an Embraer jet, which looks like a 737 kind of, only had about 100 seats, took about 2.5 hours, 2-hour flight time, and like I say, we came home on light rail to Northgate, from Northgate to Everett on one bus line, and then we hit the Blue Swift bus up here to our condo. So we kind of did it the old-fashioned way, and that worked out really well for us. Good to hear from everybody here, and I tried to stay on this as much as I could because I didn't really want to burn. But you still get a lot of sun when you're on these boats because there's a lot of open spaces you go walk through, and, you know, look at all the pools. I never got into the pool, but I did go into a spa and soaked in their spa, and that was really nice. So I'm going to say 73. This is Jessica, KF7UHK.
WW7UHK. Thanks for that. Well, let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, Ron, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Having not stayed in a motel in a while, and I was kind of in the same way. But there's a new thing that I'm trying to get used to. I'm not. Kind of weirds me out a little bit, but you got to do it on your smartphone, pretty much. It's called Airbnb, and it's condominiums, homes. It looks very well organized, and so in my case, with pets, and if I want to leave, me and Debbie want to leave the pets behind, hotel isn't very practical. They can, you can always hear people walking down the hallway in a hotel or motel, and that gets the dog all worked up, starts barking. But when you're in a house, they can't hear anything, feels like home, and they just get in their beds and sleep while you're gone. So, but Airbnb, I guess, I suspect to be, Debbie's been a customer, I haven't, so I think I might become one real soon, just because of the house thing. And let's see, oh yeah, the dog treats, or dog food, well, I swear, if someone would hand Pippa's dog treats to me that smell and look exactly like beef jerky, oh my God, I mean, I don't know how you could not get mixed up, but at least I know what it looks like, and usually Pippa's right there to tell me that it's not mine and it's hers. So, but I'm telling you, if she wasn't around and if I was a stranger or something, I'm afraid I might think it's the real deal and have dog treats instead of beef jerky. So, no, that doesn't appeal to me. So anyway, Jessica, great to have you back. Sorry you got sick. I've got my fingers crossed. Jessica, I've had my 8th COVID vaccine. Believe it or not, there's 8 COVID vaccines that are out there now, and I have them all. So, I don't know, that might be too late for you, but at least it's something to think about. K7ITX 73, everybody, back to net control.
ITX, thanks for that. And it's time to sign off the net. This has been the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions for this net. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.